Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another before and after. So, yeah, I think it's really hard to see what I'm going to be looking at today. And if you didn't already read the title, you clearly know that I'm gonna go see Civil War again. No, okay, I'm seeing X-Men Apocalypse, and I just can't wait to see this. Now one thing I do want to let you guys know is that this is a day before it actually comes out. And I just think that that is awesome. I'm going to see it a day before it comes out. I'm going to be one of the very first people to ever see it in 3D. Outside of maybe the people who worked on it, maybe people who saw it on the red carpet premiere, but outside of that, I'm going to be one of the first people to see it. And I already gotta say, it looks amazing. As a big fan of the storylines with these characters in the comics and the films already, I have all the films with me actually. X-Men to X-Men Last Stand is right here, and First Class to Days of Future Past. So, yeah, I really do love these movies. Now, this one is probably my favorite, and I really do like seeing the continuation of it. And this is going to be one of those, so I can't wait to see that. Now, okay, let's actually start talking about the trailer here. So, trailer is great. I just gotta say that first. Now, there are some things I have little nitpicks on. As a total geek, I have some nitpicks. Like, why is Storm's hair black? I know this seems like a minor issue to many, but Storm has always had white hair. She was born with it. I'm sorry. This really annoys me. Mainly because the actress actually did know about this. The actress does know about the character of Storm, and guess what? She knew that she has white hair for her whole life. So, yeah, come on. But outside of that, yeah, no real major nitpick about Storm. She looks alright. The only other thing that kind of irks me is that she's on Apocalypse's side. But, yeah, pretty sure that's gonna turn around. Like, I have, some guarantee that things are gonna change with her. So, at some point or another. So, yeah, pretty sure that something's gonna happen. Um, now, outside Storm, there are quite a few other characters, but Storm was just my favorite X-Men, so I just wanted to talk about her for a little bit. Now, Charles Xavier is finally now in the Charles Xavier position, so that looks awesome. He's finally being made as the teacher of all these other mutants, and I do love seeing that finally come into actuality with these movies. Like, we've already seen them be the teacher as Patrick Stewart, but we haven't really seen this one, I forgot the actor's name, being sort of that teacher that Xavier is yet. So it's really exciting to actually see that one come about, and also the fact that he's going to be bald in this movie is apparently a very big shocker to these trailers. I mean, really, they play this at the end with the dramatic music, so we know that that's the importance bits. Um, Magneto in this movie, he's going to be one of the Four Horsemen. Cool. Now, yeah, I don't really know how exactly to feel about this yet. I guess I'll just have to wait and see how he becomes one of the Horsemen, but I don't know, it just sort of seems like it could be a win situation or it could be a lose. Like, depending on how it's done. So, yeah, I don't really know how that one's gonna go yet. But, hey, we'll have to wait and see on that. Then we also have Mystique, who apparently is now being depicted as a hero. Why? She tried to kill this guy, And since she didn't on national television, apparently she's a hero now. Yeah, I don't know how that works. Like, you didn't kill someone on live TV? You're a hero now! I mean, like, apparently this is like a big milestone for all mutants, too. Like, this is not just a minor thing, this is a huge milestone. So, yeah, that's weird. Doom being taught in history lessons about how the Great Mystique didn't shoot someone. Come on, guys. Really? She didn't shoot someone. It's not like she saved any lives or anything. All she did was save the life of a guy that she was about ready to kill. Does that really get her a Nobel Peace Prize? But apparently she's even confused on the scenario, so that gives me a little bit more comfort. So it would be kind of nice of seeing her actually return to the Xavier Institute, so that's gonna be interesting. So we also have some of the older X-Men characters coming in, and one thing I really have an issue with is that it seems that Scott is not going to be the very first mutant enrolled at the school. Now, if you are a fan of the comics, then you know that Scott Summers is the very first person to be enrolled at Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. He's the very first. And that's why he's eventually made to team leader. But here it seems like he's going to be like the second or third. I don't know why that is. Like, did these movies ever happen? Was he not the leader in these movies? Sorry, am I remembering that incorrectly? But all in all, I am a very big fan of the X-Men, and I really can't wait to see this one. We're finally getting a younger Jean Grey, and Bryan Singer has even said, I might be remaking this. This one's X-Men Last Stand, just so you know. So, yeah, I don't know what he's talking about with that. I might remake one of my older movies. Yeah, way to mess up your timeline even more. I just had it figured out. I seriously just had your timeline figured out. So pretty much X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men 3, going back in time to make sure X-Men 3 never happened, and maybe 2. Then also having that one as the very first. But then we have Angel, who was also in 3. So, at the same age, and he's gonna be in this movie. So, yeah, how does that work? Is it his son or something? Is that Archangel's son that we saw in X3? I'm really confused here. Seriously, Bryan Singer, explain. Okay, there's that little rant out of the way. So, and yeah, as I brought up, we also have Angel in this, aka Archangel, and I really cannot wait to see Archangel on the screen. One thing I do have a little complaint about is that he hasn't previously worked with the X-Men, so that kind of takes out the personal feel of when he's turned to Archangel, because at first he had worked with the X-Men for years, and then when he was turned to Archangel, it was a huge shock. And it was a very tragic fight. But now it's just sort of like this random guy they met in a cage match. So yeah, don't want to hurt him. Um, that to me just seems like kind of an issue, but outside of that, I'm fine with it. Now, one person that I do want to talk about for this that I honestly did not know that this person put in this much work is the person who is playing Psylocke. Now, I know a bit about Psylocke. Like, I know her powers. She's telekinetic. She has telepath. She's a telepath, and she has like these psychic daggers. I know the basics with her, but apparently, the actress playing her knows about her freaking origin. How does she know about that? I don't even know that, and I've been a fan of the X-Men ever since I was like in, I don't know, elementary school. Yeah, really, I got my very first X-Men comic in elementary school. well, technically it was a Scarlet Witch comics, but it still ties into the X-Men, so, um, and yeah, this actress has put in a lot of time and effort into this role. I mean, she put in a lot. Like, she learned how to fight with a sword. A dual, actually. She's able to fight with dual swords, so she does most of her stunt work. She actually made Bryan Singer change her costume around so it's more like the comics. She really dyed her hair, which I guess isn't saying much. The same guy playing Charles shaved his head. Give him a big enough paycheck, they'll do anything with their hair. Um, and she also learned 3 different styles of fighting. Wow. I don't even know who this actress is, but man, get her in more movies. She works freaking hard. So, yeah, I mean, she really does work hard for this role. Apparently, this is the role that she's been waiting for her whole life or something. I don't know. But she really wanted this role, so, yeah. Can't wait to see her in it now. I mean, she looks like she's gonna fit the part now really well, especially with all that training. So, Psylocke, can't wait to see what you do. Mainly because I don't know anything about you. All I really know about you is that you have psychic daggers, and you can read people's mind and communicate telepathically. That's all I really know about you, so I can't wait to see anything else about you. Now, one thing I do want to bring up is that there is a very cool commercial for this movie. Now, I know this seems like a minor thing, but this is a part of the promotion for this movie, and I really want to bring this up. So, give me 1 second, and I will show you why this promotion was great. Okay, so there is a commercial right here. Xavier's, wow, lighting, just awful. Okay, over that. Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters TV commercial. Now, in this ad that stars Jubilee for whatever reason, yeah, she was always so influenced. She's gonna be in this movie, by the way. Pretty much some of her. The actress looks okay. She looks like she's gonna do fine. One thing that I hear from this movie is that she's not in it that much. So yeah, we seem to get off pretty lucky. Now, there's a number in it that, okay, displaying number, maybe. Yep, you guys can totally see that number if you pause it. So, there's a number for Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, and if you call it, well, let's just call it.
Hello, you've reached Xavier School for
That's
Gifted
awesome.
Youngsters. Sorry we can't take your call right now, but please join us on May 27th as we host a very special and truly marvelous open house show. Thanks for your call and have an amazing day.
That's cool.
Excelsior!
Excelsior. Okay. I just gotta say, that is freaking amazing, advertising. I just love that. Like, you gotta watch this old 80s commercial where they have a phone number in it, then you call that phone number immediately. Call that phone number right now. Seriously, this phone number is great. You get you get a message from Stanley. I just love that. So, if you haven't called this number, pause me. I'm a video. I can be paused. Go call this number. It is so great, even though I just called it for you. So, yeah, X-Men Apocalypse looks like a really great movie, and does look like they are going to be following up on my favorite X-Men movie, so can't really wait to see it. It looks pretty interesting. Everything in it does look like it's going to be pretty well done. Granted, Apocalypse himself, I don't know if I'm fully on board with Poe playing him, but I don't know. We'll have to see. So, yeah, I know about the storyline of Apocalypse and everything. So, can't wait to see how that's going to be represented. So far, they do seem to have it pretty accurate with him, like, sort of taking control of Egypt and Yeah, I don't know if one of his slaves is going to rise up against him and then lock him away, so we'll have to wait and see. But that is pretty much it for right now, so I'll see you in the after part later. Crap, I still don't know how to end these. Someone send me an idea as to how to end these before parts. I really need some help with this. Okay, so I now run back from the movie, and it was pretty good. Not as good as X-Men First Class, but along the lines of Days of Future Past. So I do like Days of Future Past, so I liked it pretty well. Now let's talk about what's going on in this movie because there's a lot. Pretty much, Apocalypse is the main focus, and they actually do get his origin pretty right, with him being created as a god amongst those in Egypt. But there are some who think of him as a false god, and they pretty much betray him. And they also put in the alien technology, which was awesome. I loved seeing that. And pretty much they lock him underneath this giant pyramid. They lock him in this tomb. So yeah, that is pretty accurate to what happens usually with him. But there is one weird thing about it. For some odd reason, in this version, he can transfer his consciousness into another being. Where the heck did this come from? Really, he's never been able to do this before. How can he just up and decide, hey, I want to transfer my being into another person? Okay, I'm gonna do that now. How can he do that? Where did this come from? Really, I am so lost as to where this came from. So, like, out of nowhere, he can just transfer himself into someone else. Why? Like, I mean, okay, this does sort of serve a point later, and with what they do with it isn't bad, and and it does at least serve some potential, but why? Just why did they need to do that? Okay, so, pretty much, years later, Apocalypse now wakes up to pretty much saying that, as he says, the weak have now taken over. Shut up, Apocalypse. So, yeah, I don't consider myself a weak person. Okay, granted, I'm not physically strong, but still, we were able to build nukes. And what were you able to build? A giant pyramid. Shut up. We were able to build a house. So, yeah, pretty much he is disgusted by the fact that people have now started their own form of government and have nukes. So he decides, okay, well, might as well gather my four horsemen, which will include Storm, well, Psylocke. I'm sorry, I just got up right now, really. I did just get up a few minutes ago. I started working on these videos very early. Um, so they got Storm, Psylocke, Archangel, and Magneto. And yeah, frankly, all these characters do have their own story arc, except for Psylocke. She gets one at the end, in which I really don't get. I'll talk about it later. But, pretty much, he forms the Four Horsemen, and, well, he finds out about Charles and decides, wow, this guy has a lot of freaking power, and he's able to tap into everybody on Earth's mind. I could use him. So, pretty much, he decides to kidnap Charles in order to try and transfer his consciousness into him. Because that'll work. And, of course, the X-Men try and go out and stop him. Along the way, they're captured by the Weapon X program. That's so awesome. And pretty much they break out with the help of Wolverine. He has to make a cameo in every single one of these movies. And yeah, it is pretty cool to see him. And it's even a well acted scene. where he does come in. So there's one complaint though that I have, but this is more of a geek complaint, is that originally in the comics, when he goes berserk, it's right after he gets the adamantium in him, and he's not wearing anything. I know this seems like a minor issue, but here it's when he's in a cell already and has pants on. I guess that does make a lot of sense, seeing as, well, yeah, PG-13. I mean, you wouldn't want anything like that, but seriously, you could have even had with him just breaking out of the thing. I mean, come on. But it was kind of cool, and it did have a lot of build-up, so I will give them that. Like, when they're breaking him out, it does honestly feel like, okay, what the heck is in here? I mean, like, you know what's in there, it's just like, what's he gonna be like? I haven't really seen him go berserk like this yet. So, yeah, it's kind of cool to actually see that finally happen. And pretty much, well, now the X-Men are going out to save Charles with the help of Mystique, because apparently she's a good guy now. And, yeah, they do that. They save Charles, and Jean Grey unlocks a little bit of the Phoenix, and that's pretty much it. That is the very bare bones of this movie. So, now one thing I find kind of interesting about this movie is that really the best storyline out of all the characters in this film would actually have to be Magneto. Now, I say this because his storyline is actually a really tragic one. What's going on with him is that he pretty much started over. Yeah, after everything going on in Days of Future Past with him, he decided, well, I'm gonna go try and get a good life. So, yeah, I don't know how he just up and decided that. It's just like he just sort of did. So, he goes out and he gets a wife. And he also gets a good job in a metal making, in a sheet metal factory. Well, yeah, I mean, really? Sheet metal factory? That's probably, yeah, I guess that's probably the best place I could have gone. Metal factory. I really don't know what they were doing there. It seemed like some metal making factory, but I don't really know exactly what they were doing. Were they making swords or something? Are they blacksmiths? What? I really don't know what they were doing exactly, but it was like this big factory working thing. So, pretty much he goes out and gets a job. He even gets a kid that is not Scarlet Witch or Quicksilver. Okay, on to that. So, yeah, he has a kid, he has a wife, he now has a good job, but unfortunately, one guy, he makes a mistake in the factory and he's about ready to be crushed. So Magneto actually saves him. Good job, Magneto. Didn't expect you to be a good guy here. And yeah, he saves the life of this guy, and they're all a-holes and decide, hey, let's call up the military and tell them that we found Magneto. He just saved your life, you ungrateful a-hole. So, yeah, he kind of realizes that the situation might put him in danger, and him and his wife try to leave, but their kid is gone. Because she just went out for a stroll, I guess. And pretty much they find her and being held by some military people with only wooden weapons, so Magneto can't do a thing. And they don't even have badges. Isn't that funny? Like, they don't even need the badges. Like, they couldn't even get out hand-carved wooden badges just to make sure that he would know they're really cops and stuff. So, yeah, they give him back his daughter, and Magneto turns himself in. Well, it looks like everything's gonna be okay from here. But it turns out that his kid actually has powers. What kind of powers? We have no idea. Was it hex powers? I'm wondering. I'm really curious here as to what her abilities were. But, pretty much in all the commotion of his daughter using her powers, her and his wife are accidentally shot by a wooden arrow. So dangerous. And really, those things are deadly. So, yeah, this is actually a really sad scene. It's very well acted. There's not much speaking. They just let the scene speak for itself. And this is probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. They have quite a few quiet moments like this, and whenever they do it, it does have an impact on things. Like, there's another scene where Charles is just talking with Jean about the scenario and everything about her nightmare that involves the Phoenix. Yeah, I seriously think they're trying to remake this movie. I mean, they said they were gonna try and remake it, so I don't know. Might happen. Um, and pretty much now that scene is also very quiet. There are quite a few of them, and I do like seeing those quiet moments, especially where they are. They come in right when they're needed. Um, and pretty much from there, Magneto was sort of been filled with even more hatred because nothing seems to go right for him. Even when he tries to be a nice guy and everything and just try to live a normal life, nothing works for him. So, pretty much he's going back to Magneto. But then Apocalypse comes in and says, hey, oh wait, you're busy trying to kill these guys who were working with you and they betrayed you? Really? Oh, well, I'll kill them for you. Kind of rude there. Thanks, Apocalypse. That was kind of rude. Really, he was trying to do that himself. Jeez, that was just rude. But Magneto probably does have the best reaction he could give to some random guy teleporting into this factory right as he's trying to kill these people with three other people with a katana, a white mohawk, and metal angel wings. He probably gives the most accurate reaction, in which is, who the fuck are you? I seriously just love that reaction. Everyone in the theater thought it was hilarious, too. And, yeah, it was a hilarious reaction. And from there, he's pretty much just one of the horsemen until he decides, wait a minute, maybe I do actually have some things left to live for. So then he just becomes a good guy again. Woo! And that's pretty much where his story arc leaves off. So his story arc is mainly about redemption, and I really do like it. His story arc is done very well, and he was actually my favorite part in this movie, so yeah, I do like what they did with him. But there are other things in it that are really good, like the stuff with Charles, I really do enjoy seeing. You really do get to see the full extent of his powers and everything that's going on with that, so that was cool. I really do love just seeing how far his powers went. Oh, and also they rebuilt the school. For all those who were annoyed with the school looking differently in the movies. They rebuilt it for you. So shut up. Okay, so yeah. They rebuilt the school because Havoc destroyed it and also Havoc dies. Sorry for spoiling that. I know it's really a tragic thing. So, yeah. Havoc dies. And honestly, I think this was kind of a letdown to me. I mean, he's Alex Summers. He finally shot some of his energy out of his hands, and yet you just kill him off after that. Doesn't really seem like the smartest move to me. Like, hey, he finally decided that they like in the comics, and I kill him. Okay. Like, really, who decided that? And pretty much what they do with them in this movie, though, that's fine. So, and he does die for a good reason, and it does have an impact on everyone, so I guess I don't really mind it. Quicksilver is in this movie, and he does sort of have a story arc with him trying to reach out to his father, who he finds out is Magneto, and yeah, he just found this out. He didn't know it in Days of Future Past. So that's kind of an important thing to note. But pretty much he's trying to find his dad, and when he finally does, he doesn't say anything about him being his son. Smart move there. Yeah, I know, he's a genius. So, yeah, the weird thing is that Magneto leaves at the end of the movie, but I was honestly thinking that Charles was gonna say, hey, you know you have a son here, right? Like, really, you have a son here. Maybe you should stay for him. Oh, I didn't know I had a son here. Okay, I'm gonna stay. Like, who's my son? Oh, that fast kid. Oh, okay, that was him? Cool. Now it makes sense why he came up there looking for his family. So, yeah, I'm just saying, like, really, Quicksilver, you could have just said something there and he would have stayed. Probably never would have became Magneto, but, you know, you wanna keep on being Quicksilver, that's fine. So, Quicksilver also joined the X-Men, as did Raven. How do they go from being villains to being X-Men? I mean, like, okay, I've seen this sort of a thing happen in Evolution, but it was actually explained there, and you could see it. Like, it happened with Magneto, and you could see a human side to him. With Mystique in that show, she mainly was just left in a tragic state. So, yeah. Where did this come from? And also, the Brotherhood of Evil in that show, what they do? Oh yeah, they stayed bad guys. So, maybe when we get the rest of the Brotherhood, then they'll be evil. Oh, and also we saw the Blob in one scene being defeated by Angel. How Angel defeated the Blob, I don't know. But, he did. And apparently, we find out very important bit of information. Nightcrawler cannot teleport if there's electricity. That's apparently his big weakness. So, that's something. Now, let's actually talk about some more characters in this movie now. We got Jean Grey, and I do like setting up a Phoenix and everything with her, but that's kind of all there is to her character here. Just sort of setting up, she's gonna be the Phoenix, get it? And when we do see the Phoenix, it is pretty cool to see, and it does feel like the build-up was worth it. It just feels like that was all that her character was in this movie, and I do kind of wish that they explored her a bit more. Um, and when it comes to Nightcrawler, they do him fine, but he is more of the comic relief in this movie. And frankly, I never really got this character. Like, his big power is he can go somewhere else. Like, really? At least they did follow the basic rules of how he works, with he can only teleport as far as he can see or a place that he's already been. And I do like how they established that again, because that has been how his powers have always worked, so it is kind of cool to see that. I also do like that this version of him is kind of a mix between X-Men Evolution's Kurt and also the more animated series Kurt. Like, both of them mixed together. He's religious and he's also sort of a fun character. So it's sort of a mix between those two. And I do like that. So that was pretty cool to see. I also just find it ironic that he looks like a devil and yet he's religious. I just find that so ironic. Also, someone in the theater said that he was their favorite X-Men. I was about ready to stand up and yell at that person. I was this close. Really. Over Storm? Are you kidding me? Or Beast? Really? They're such cool X-Men, and you just choose Nightcrawler. The guy who can teleport places. Oh, he has the best power. I get annoyed at minor things. God. My dad was just sitting there counting how many people came in. I had to get annoyed at something. I don't know why. But now the main character I do want to address here is that Storm did not have white hair from birth. That still annoys me. But overall, the actress who plays Storm does her pretty well, but she's not really in the movie that much, which is kind of my biggest complaint. Because Storm is my favorite X-Men, and I really want to see her a little bit more. But when she does come in, it does at least feel natural into why she does this, so yeah, I'm cool with it. Although, when he says we're going to, everything they built will fall, and from the ashes we'll build a better one, did she really not think, hey, maybe this guy is evil, maybe I should leave? Like, really, did she never think that? But apparently she didn't, because she said, I got cool lightning powers and white hair from this, I'm cool. So, yeah, I guess that she was just comfortable in her situation. And, and then we got the last character that I wanted to bring up. Well, actually, wait, no, there are two more. Hank in this movie, I do kind of enjoy. They do at least expand on him and everything going on with Raven. And they also do show a little bit more of how he feels about the whole entire situation between humans and mutants. He believes in what Charles is doing, and he does want that to be how things are, but he does think that, okay, if we need to protect ourselves, we need to do that. We also need to train these kids to actually be ready for a bad situation, and that's kind of what happens in the end, with by far one of Charles Xavier's coolest lines. If anyone comes looking for trouble in his school, then he pities them. I seriously love that line. That line is so cool. Um, Also, Charles is bald in this movie now because of everything going on with Apocalypse. Whoop-de-doo. So, yeah, the actor actually did shave his head because they gave him a lot of money, I guess. Um, Also, Pat. They also got the other actor, Patrick Stewart, I think, or Patrick Swayze. They got him in to just sort of see the new Charles gets head shaved. Very important use of his time. I'm sure he wasn't doing anything else. So, yeah. That's pretty much everything going on with Charles. Now, the last character I do want to address, Scott Summers. I think he's okay. Now, I haven't really seen the representation of him that I really like yet, because Scott Summers is actually my favorite of the teenage X-Men. Now, if you know about the X-Men, then you know that there are adult ones that are sort of teachers, and there are teenage ones that are more students, or that are sort of more teammates, depending. And, and Scott Summers is usually more of the teammate one, while Storm is more of like one of the teacher ones, so I put her in a different category. Um, because Storm is my favorite, along with Beast and Charles. But pretty much, it would have to be Cyclops, who was one of my favorite members of the team. And I really have been waiting so long to see an actual good representation of him. Say I got half of that here. He does act more like a teenager, but he doesn't really act that much like a leader. I kind of want to find that right balance. X-Men Evolution did this, and I really do like the way they made him there. But here, I never really got that. Also, someone please bring back X-Men Evolution. I want to see the Dark Phoenix saga in there, dang it. Yeah, I don't have any more money around my custer right now, so I can't cuss. And yeah, I do think that with what they do with him, it's fine. Although he's not the very first mutant at Charles Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. Well, how is he supposed to become the leader now? How is this supposed to work? He becomes the leader mainly because he's the one who's been there longest. He's trained along him the longest. He's been working with him for the longest. He's the most trusted that he has. And yet, why is he the leader now? Because he led them through something? What? I don't know why. It's just a issue to me. I mean, like, okay, it's kind of funny to see how they react to him, but still just really annoys me. Um, Also, Jubilee's not really in this movie, so nothing really to say about her. Yeah, why even put her in this movie if she's not gonna do that much? She doesn't even use her powers once, so, like, where's the point in her? Um, and we also have Psylocke, who I forgot to talk about. Her character at the end randomly makes the switch to being a villain. Where did this come from? Why did she become a villain? Was it because of Angel? I really have no idea why she became a villain. She just does. One more character that I do want to talk about who I just remembered, is Angel. And the stuff going on with him is pretty good. Pretty much, he used to be stuck in these cage matches where he would have to fight or be killed, and he got used to it. He got used to winning, but eventually, when Nightcrawler comes in, he does actually cripple his wing, or at least one of his wings, and that pretty much breaks him down. He goes out, he becomes an alcoholic, though I can't really tell if he wasn't already, and pretty much he just goes off, and that's pretty much all he's got to do. He just decides, okay, got out of the cage match fight, so I'm just gonna go into an empty building and drink beer and have loud music on. Yeah, the best option. And pretty much when Apocalypse comes, he does give him the wings and an actually pretty awesome transformation sequence. Seriously, the sequence was awesome. And and the music does accompany it well, and now he's pretty much Archangel, and I do think that his story really did go full circle. Although I did kind of wish that he was a part of the X-Men, so it would have been a more personal battle for him, but with him and everything, but what they do with him, they do it fine. So let's actually talk about the movie-going experience, because I haven't talked about this movie enough. For one, I want to bring up this. Dun dun dun! In cinemas. Whoop. In cinemas, May 27th. My movie ticket? Sorry, this thing looks like a mirror. My movie ticket says for the 26th, okay? I saw this thing one day early, and I gotta say that was kind of fun. And I did see it in 3D, so this is my very first time talking about the 3D effects for my before and after, and I gotta say, there were some pretty cool moments in 3D. When Quicksilver's using his powers again, oh yeah, they have another scene like that, and it is awesome. When he's using his powers again, I really did like that. Especially in 3D, that was really fun to see. Um, there are some scenes where it does stand out with the 3D. For some odd reason, one of them was when Magneto was looking at Gates. But there are some moments where, but there were quite a few moments where it wasn't needed. There were some moments where I was just getting annoyed with the 3D glasses and everything, so it is kind of cool to see this movie in 3D because there are some cool things that you get from it. It's just like, it's not really needed, and you don't have to see it in 3D. Like, there are some cool things that you can see in 3D in this movie that definitely do have a bigger effect, like the opening sequence and the opening credit scene. That looks really cool in 3D. But there are some other things that you just don't really need to see in 3D, so yeah, I don't really think that you have to see it in 3D to get a full experience from this movie. But if you do, it will add in a little bit more. So go see it if you want to see it in 3D, because there are quite a few things that you can get from the experience a bit more. But if you don't want to see it in 3D, that's fine. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There were 100 people in our theater. You know, it seems like a minor thing to say, but yeah, just want to fill you in. Also, Kubo and the Two Strings will be playing at that theater soon. I still really want to see that. Um, Probably gonna wait till the dollar theater though. It doesn't really seem like that big of a movie to see on the big screen. But I do still want to see it in cinemas, so. But I'm probably just gonna wait till it's cheaper. So, yeah, that's about all I had to say for this movie. I really do enjoy it. If you're a fan of the X-Men, go see it. And even following the franchises, definitely go see it. There are quite a few similarities to that. Maura McTaggart is in it. I know that's the real selling point there, isn't it? And pretty much there are quite a few cool things in it, and there are some great storylines. The villain does pretty good. Yeah, Apocalypse in this movie, he's fine. So go see it if you guys found what I said about it to be interesting, because it really is a pretty cool movie. So yeah, that's about it. Bye. Okay, wait a minute. There's one thing I forgot to bring up, and that is the end credit scene. Yeah, I don't really know why I forgot to talk about this, but me and my dad did actually stay to watch it this time. Probably because I told him about it beforehand. And pretty much, we got to see it this time, and what happened in it, I think, was a nod to X-23. They get out Wolverine's DNA, and the company just takes it. I really do think that this is a reference to X-23, but if it's not, then, you know, it's not. But pretty much, it does look like a great nod to X-23, and if they are making something with X-23, that would be awesome. So, yeah, just like a kind of little small thing that I wanted to bring up before I cleaned up everything back here with all my X-Men stuff. So, yeah, I just now remembered that. And also, there's an Empire Strikes Back reference, which is kind of meta, actually, by saying the third film in the franchise is always the worst, when this one's the third one in the First Class franchise. But, I also didn't like, Return of the Jedi. That one's my favorite. Am I the only one who thinks that one's the best? But, yeah, this is like a kind of little thing that I wanted to bring up because I just now remembered it. So, yeah, X-23 might be coming. That's gonna be pretty cool. So yeah, that's kind of it. Just remembered it. Okay, bye.